All right, good morning. All right, child's pose, everybody. Open your knees wide. Allow your hips to sink back to your heels. Keep your head down. I will probably have my head up just so I can keep an eye on you guys. Spread your knees wide. Let your belly soften in between your thighs. And spread your fingers. And just melt. Give your body the opportunity to really relax, let go, and give yourself the opportunity to connect to your breathing and to your space, and to this day, and to this time. And let it go. Draw the breath from shoulder to shoulder, from rib to rib, from hip to hip, and from the crown of the head to the tailbone. So looking for any available amount of space that we can find in our bodies. And then we find that space and we move into it. And then sometimes we can find more space to grow into. Inhale onto your fingertips, look up and walk over to the right side, left hand on top of right. Push your hip to your heels, drop your shoulders down. Push against the floor with your hands and push against your hips with your heels, or your heels with your hips. Take another breath and stay on the same side, lift up. And see if you can move a little bit more to the right side. Left arm longer, or as long, or on top of right. One more breath. Inhale back through center, take your time. You can go hand over to the other side. Right arm on top, right hip pushes back, relax your hips down, shoulders relax. So I'm pushing the floor away with my hands, and then I'm pushing my hips to my heels at the same time. Breathe in. Inhale back, over a little bit more to the left side. See if you have a little bit more space to move into. And then come on back to center. Walk the hands back out in front of you. And then gently draw yourself up to your hands and knees. Bring your knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders. And flip your palms up and fingers back towards your knees here. And just release a little bit into the wrists. If you feel like you can do some push-ups here or any cat-cows, whatever kind of speaks to you at this moment. Breathe in, breathe out. For some of you, this is enough. Good. And then we're going to turn our fingers in towards each other. Now the palms are down. Press your chest through. Exhale, bring your chin to your chest, round your spine, so we're adding in a few cat-cows. Inhale, back to neutral. And then take your hands back into your traditional, right under your shoulders. Take your right arm out in front of you, thumb up to the sky, tuck your toes if you'd like. And circle the arm back and around a couple times in both directions. So we're going to go back and around first. Follow it with your eye gaze if that's comfortable for you. And then reverse it, circling it out and around. And getting a little shoulder joint, loosen the shoulder joints here. Arms up, right arm up, look at it. Hopefully this helps from Amanda, from her soreness yesterday. Right arm underneath left arm, back of the head, shoulder down. It doesn't have to go down. Okay, that's the intention, doesn't mean it happens. Left arm reaches out in front of you. And then keep your hips up in the air, and anything you'd like to do with that left leg. Some of you like to lift it, bend it, bind it, take it out to the side, or just keep it tucked under today. Reaching again in two different directions. Take another breath. As you empty the breath, turn your torso forward. Take your right arm out in front of you. Drop your chin to your chest, or chest to the floor. Now elevate your forearms, elevate your finger pads, or stay on your finger pads, elevate your hands, but don't lift your shoulder blades out. Inhale, press the palms down, sit back in child's pose. And then round and curl your spine, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Come back to neutral position of your spine, left arm out in front of you, thumb up, tuck the toes underneath you. Start circling backwards. Again, getting some good juice into the shoulders here. and then reverse it. Sometimes one side feels a little better, a little stiffer than the other. Hold it up in the center, arm up, look at it, take it underneath your right arm as you twist. The back of your head maybe touches the floor, the back of your shoulder maybe touches the floor, the right arm reaches out in front of you. Finding two directions with your arms. And then if you'd like to lift a leg, bind it, anything you do, take it to the side, or just keep it where it is because it feels fine. Another breath. Inhale, come back to the center, arms out, chest down. I feel like the song should be saying, wake me up when 2020 ends. Come forward onto your forearms if you're not listening to it, it's Green Day. Tuck the toes underneath you, find a plank. Shoulders over elbows, belly is lifted, crown of the head forward, tailbone back. Now draw as if you were drawing your elbows to your thighs, and then pull your collarbones forward, shift a little forward on those toes, and then lower your hips down so that you're resting right above the pubic bone. And separate your feet about as wide as the short edge of your mat, and then lift your heart through. And then continue the action of pulling the heel of the elbow towards your thighs and pull your collarbones through. Good. Stay here or extend the arms depending on how your back is feeling right now, right? It might be too much for you just yet. Bring your chin down towards your chest, relax those shoulders down. Good. Then look over your right shoulder. Wherever you are, you could be on your forearms or your hands. And then come through center, look over your left shoulder. And then come back to center, tuck the chin down towards the chest, but keep space between the ears and shoulders. If you're rised onto your hands, bring your forearms down. And once again, push back to child's pose. Walk your arms back. This time, bring your arms by your side, turn the palms up to the sky. Drape your shoulders over your thighs, let your head come down. Inhale, bring your hands together at the back of your body. Bring your chin to your chest and lift your hips up. Come into a rabbit pose. You might want to separate your feet. Stretch your arms up as much as they'll go. Don't put any pressure on your head. It's all really pressing into your shins to get that spine grounded now. And then we're going to just continue to roll up to sit on our shins. Double up your mat if you need to. Right, Karen? We discovered that the other day. Lift the chest up. Tuck the toes underneath you. And just open up the front of your chest, your heart, your hips. Inhale, bring the arms overhead as you release them. Palms together, thumb and forefinger release. Drop the shoulders down. Keep the toes tucked if you feel it makes you more stable. Lift out of your waistline. Inhale through center and lift up and over to the side. Good. Ardha Chandrasana, kneeling. This is a different Ardha Chandrasana, not our balancing Ardha Chandrasana. It comes from a different lineage. Inhale back through center. Up and over to the other side, pulling the right arm with the left. We do this standing very often. Inhale back to center. Lift your heart up. Open your arms. Spread your elbows back and down. Open up that chest. And then take the hands to the floor. Tuck the toes if they're not. And find a soft, easy downward facing dog. Hips up in the air. Bend your knees and let your chest rest towards your thighs. Spread your fingers. So imagine that you're pushing the mat apart from the middle. So you're pulling the pinkies to the edges of the mat, pinky toes as well. Breathe in, breathe out. So my knees are bent, doesn't matter how much or how little, just to the point where you feel that it's enough for you. It's just where you need to be. Keeping the knees bent, we're going to come back into a hovering tabletop. Just let the knees come right off the floor. Press in, don't give in. One more breath. Lower down, sit in child's pose, stretch the arms out. Inhale, rise up onto your shins, arms come up overhead. Toes tucked or not, lean to the right side as you exhale, interlace fingers, release thumb and forefinger. Inhale back to center, up and over left side. And then come back to center, open the arms shoulder height, and then sneak your left leg out to the side. This is going to be challenging for me because my floor is slippery. Reach your fingers in two directions, so if you have an extra mat, that's helpful, or if you have to change your space, go the long way of your mat. Reach your fingers into two directions, reach that left leg outside, and then reach to your right side. Right hand comes down, left arm comes up, left leg comes up. And maybe the arm comes over the head, and as you do that, spin your heart open, spin your shoulders open, And really engage on the outer glutes, right? So really stay strong in this left leg. Don't let it collapse. I mean, if you have to keep it down, that's okay, but keep it strong. One more breath. Good. Now reach around, sweep it around, keep your hands back on your mat, and take your left toes over to your right side. And now that right hip wants to follow it, so draw it back to center. Good. Walk your hands forward. Let your chin and chest come down, pressing into the right shin. Breathe in. I know. Dirty Dancing Asana. Don't know why. Bring it back in underneath your shoulders. Bring your left knee behind your right knee, so we're going to come into Gomukhasana, cow face. If you need to, a block is great here underneath your hips, especially because it's early in the class, right? So sit back onto your hips or your block, but not your heels. Take your thumbs into the center of your foot. Give yourself that foot massage you're all longing for, that we'd give anything to do right now for. All right, and then just stay here for a moment, a little pressure point in the middle of that foot. Then take your arms and bring them up overhead. Interlace your fingers, release thumb and forefinger. Try to stay grounded on both sides of your hips, lean to the right side. It's not going to be too big of a space, right? Because you don't want the hip to lift up. Back to center, inhale. Up and over the left side. Back to center, inhale. Now bring prayer down to your heart. Twist to your right side, left elbow outside right thigh, thumbs to heart, twist. Work on grounding the right hip. Again, it doesn't have to touch, but the action is there, so that you feel that space being created. Another big breath here. Good. Inhale back to center, bring your hands to prayer. Take the arms up overhead. And just come back into a tabletop position with your knees crossed. So my right knee is still in front of my left knee. Tuck the toes, lift the knees up, and find a shorter downward facing dog. Right leg over left. Walk your hands back to your feet, back of the mat. Settle down in the middle. And then bring your chin to chest, roll up through your spine. Inhale up. Exhale, press down, lean to the right side. Inhale back to center, up and over, lean to the left side. Inhale back to center, just like we did earlier. Release the arms into cactus. Exhale, fold all the way down to the floor. Right leg is still in front. Lengthen your spine, look forward. Walk your hands out in front of you. Come into a plank pose with your left leg tucked behind your right leg. Now bring your left knee to your chest, round and curl. And then cross the left leg in front of the right leg. Bring your right knee to your chest, round and curl. Cross the right leg over the left leg. Push back, downward facing dog. And then bring your left leg in the air nice and high. Take the knee to the chest, come back down. Left knee on the floor. Right leg out to the right side. Move your block if you have it. Rise up onto your shin, left arm, right arm, reaching out to the center. Spread your arms and legs. So keep this leg strong while it's on the floor, and then all we do is just move it to the side or lift it up in the air. So lean to the left side, left arm down, right arm up. Lift the right leg up. Lots of action going on here, right? Breathe, press through the floor, open up the arm. Maybe you open up over your shoulder, but stay lifted everywhere. The bottom of the left side, the outer right hip, you should feel some conversation there. One more breath. Now take the right arm down, right leg behind you, hands on the mat, toes tuck off to the left side. And now draw that left hip back to the center with you. Walk your hands forward, Dirty Dancing Asana. Chest down. One side speaks louder than the other to me. I'm sure to you as well. Come back to center. Lengthen your spine. And now bring that right knee behind the left. Separate your feet so you can have a seat in between them. If you're sitting on a block, sit on a block. Anything but your heels, right? If you're tight like me, your left knee is going to be a little higher, so that's where the block will come off and help us stabilize our hips and just level it off a little bit. Take your thumbs into the insteps and just give yourself that little massage. Stay grounded through your hips as much as you can, right? blocks or straight on the floor. If you don't have blocks, guys, I recommend them, but if you have blankets or towels or pillows, you can use them, but blocks are accessible right now all over the internet, so you can get them. Bring the arms up overhead, interlace fingers, release thumb and forefinger, maybe switch your finger grip one over, and lean to your left side, keep grounding in the right hip. Good, inhale back to center and to the other side. One side is going to speak louder than the other. Come back to center, and now bring the prayer to your heart, lengthen your spine, inhale. Twist to your left side, right arm hooks outside left thigh, and we twist. Thumbs to the sternum, belly is lifted, shoulders drop down. So as I'm pressing my arm against my knee and my knee against my arm or my thigh, I'm pressing my hips to the floor. So there's a really loud conversation going on in my hips. One more breath. Come back to center. Release your hands to the floor and shift back onto your hands and knees, but your left knee is crossed in front of your right. Tuck your toes underneath you and find a shorter downward facing dog. Begin to walk your hands back to your feet, coming into a forward fold at first, and then ragdolling to stand all the way up. Arms come with you. Inhale. Out of your waistline, lean to the right side as you exhale. Inhale back to center, lean to the left side as you exhale. Inhale back to center, cactus your arms, open up the front of your chest and shoulders, squeeze your shoulder blades together, pull the elbows down, and then fold over your legs and your head. Inhale, lengthen your spine, walk out to your plank, left leg is in front of right, so the right heel, or right foot is going behind the left heel. Hold the plank, pull the belly up and in. Get your body parallel to the floor, look forward, don't look down. There you go. Right knee to your chest, round and curl. Step back with the right leg in front. Left knee to your chest, round and curl. Step back with the left leg in front, downward dog. Now let's go ahead and separate our feet, bring them into your natural stance. A little bit wider, maybe, or as wide as your hips, downward facing dog. If you need a break, come to your knees. Maybe just take a break on those shoulders for a moment. Lift high up on your toes. Let's measure the downward dog. Shoulders over wrist, high plank. Good, now we were there before. Drop your hips to the floor, top of the foot and shin down. And we kind of bypassed chaturanga and came into an upward dog, but a supported upward dog where our thighs are on the floor. Pull your heart through. Look over your right shoulder. And then look over your left shoulder. And then come back to center, lift your heart all the way up. Tuck the toes and find your downward facing dog. Soft knees. Bring the feet together at the back of the mat. Float your right leg in the air, bend your left knee. Look forward. Square your hips a little bit. Right knee to chest and step it all the way through. Come to your fingertips and just set it up. So make sure that your hips are squared and that your knee is over your ankle, you're back on the ball of the back foot or on the toes, and you are getting some energy in that back leg. Take your right arm, sweep it up and open, stretching the arm all the way up. Using the left hand on the floor to give you a little bit more action. Keep drawing that right hip towards the center line. One more breath. Now as you exhale, bring your hand down and spin your back foot on its side about 45 degrees. Your heels can be in line. Your heel can be in line with your instep, or you can be wider. And notice that that right hip again wants to turn out, so we're going to draw it back in, knee over the ankle, and then just hover the arms by your side like airplane wings, palms facing each other. Pressing down through that front foot and back foot evenly. Rise up to standing. Bring the arms up shoulder height. Interlace your fingers, release thumb and forefinger. Good. Pull that up as high as you can maintain straight arms. So if that's all you get is right here in front of your chest, great. If you can bring your arms up higher, great. And if you need to, you open up your arms. And then lift your heart. Draw the bottom ribs under. Tuck your tailbone under. Sit a little bit deeper into that right thigh. Big breath. Then go ahead and straighten that front leg. Hips are squared, or as squared as they can be. Fold over your right leg. Hang your head towards your shin. Shorten your stance if you need to here. Lengthen your spine on the inhale. And exhale. So more important than anything is that right hip draws midline, left hip draws midline. Everything kind of meets to the center. Breathe in, breathe out. And if you change the length of your legs, you might have to readjust as you bend back into warrior one, arms up. So if you can take the palms together, but they're only in front of your shoulders, so be it. Lift your heart a little bit higher. See if you can get some length, more length in this by extending your spine rather than throwing your arms back. One more breath. As you exhale, hands come to the floor, turn the back foot forward, step back to a high plank. Either lower to your knees or go halfway down and keep looking forward, don't look down. Chaturanga, upward dog, resting on the tops of your feet and shins. We did a modification before. Feel free to take that and then roll back to downward facing dog. Always modify if you need to. It's okay. No one's going to tell on you. Certainly, least of all me. Bring your feet together, left leg in the air. Bend your right knee. Good. Just breathe here. Get a little bit more square. And then bring the left knee to your chest, round and curl. Step your left leg through for a low lunge. So first find your space, right? Adjust your space, knee over the ankle. Hip draws in, everything towards the midline. Then resting on your fingertips, pull your collarbones forward. Don't forget that back leg, guys. If it's on the floor, great, let it be on the floor. But if it's off of the floor, it's active. Right hand down, left arm opens up for a twist. Keep drawing that left hip in. Stretch your arm to the sky, drop your shoulders down, breathe. Inhale. And exhale, hug hips towards midline, one more breath. And as you exhale, fold over the right leg. Now we're going to spin that back foot on its side. Draw the left heel again. It could be towards the instep of the right foot, heel of the right foot, or wider. And then draw your hips to midline, draw your shoulders back. Pressing down evenly through both feet, bring your arms by your sides. Good. And then rise up, bring your hands in front of you, shoulder height. Palms together, maybe one finger over. Take your thumb and forefinger like you're Charlie's Angels here. And then bring your arms up as high as they'll stay straight. So that may be right over your chest. And then the rest of it becomes a little bit more of a back bend. So if you have the ability and the shoulder flexibility to roll your shoulders behind you a little bit, great. If not, don't worry about it. Inhale. Bring the ribs towards the hips. There's always a place for you to go, right? If you can't do what the teacher tells you to do, there's somewhere else that you can be that's safe. Now straighten your left leg and fold over your left leg. Release your hands. You might have to shorten your stance. Draw that left hip towards midline, right hip towards midline. Inhale. Fold over your left leg, head and shin towards the floor. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath. Inhale, lengthen, bend your front knee. Find your warrior one right here. Breathe in. Ribs to hips. Pull that belly in. Lift your pelvic floor muscles up. And as you exhale, take it to the floor. Step back to high plank. Vinyasa your way. Come down. Skip it. Add to it. If you're in an upward dog, your thighs are off the floor. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Come high on your toes. Bend your knees, look at your hands, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale nice and high. Exhale, forward fold. Good, come to your fingertips, grab your peace fingers around your big toe. Look forward, bring your thumbs in between your fingers and your toe. Lengthen your spine, bring the collarbones forward. Exhale, elbows out to the side, head towards the shins. And breathe. Create space between your ears and your shoulders. Push and pull. It's like a little tug of war. Inhale, halfway lift. Release your hands to the floor next to you. Separate your feet if they're not hips width apart, which is about 2 fists in between. Bend your knees and sit as if you were going to sit into a chair. Keep your knees apart. If you have trouble with that, a block or a little ball in between your thighs is always helpful. Excuse me. Reach your arms out in front of you, half chair. Press down through your feet. Lift your torso up. Tuck your tailbone under, chair pose, Utkatasana. Rise up, stand all the way up. Tilt back. Bring the hands to prayer, bring your feet together, bring your arms by your side. Namaste Tihi. Inhale and exhale. Good, so just find some grounding here. Inhale. Open your eyes. Bend your knees, sweep the floor, Utkatasana chair pose. Surya Namaskar B. Exhale, forward fold, hands to floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Walk, step, float, hop, jump back. Chaturanga or more. Upward dog or cobra. Downward dog, hips in the air. Right foot steps between the hands, left foot turns on its side. Draw that hip in. Before you come up into your stance, everything should be aligned. Good. Empty your breath and take it back down. Let's do it on the other side. First, we take a vinyasa between sides. You can skip that. You can add to that. Downward dog is where we meet. Left foot comes forward. Right foot turns, warrior one. We stay for this breath. As you empty the breath, you take it through your chaturanga. It's the same breath. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Stay here. Inhale. And exhale. If down dog is too much, you go back to child's pose. Take it again. Inhale. And exhale. High on your toes, bend your knees, look forward. Make your way to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, hang your head. Bend your knees, drop your hips, Utkatasana chair pose. Inhale, rise to standing, hands to your prayer. Arms by your side. Let's take that one more time. So your Namaskar breathe. One breath per movement. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale through your chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha, downward dog. Right foot steps, left foot turns, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And the exhale, we take it through chaturanga. If you want to skip it, just meet in downward facing dog. Upward dog, downward dog. Left foot comes forward, right foot turns on its side. Warrior one, inhale. Chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Where the eye gaze goes, the body follows. So make sure you take your eyes with you, but you don't hyperextend in your neck. Stay and breathe another breath. Good, look forward. Step your right foot forward. Turn the left foot on its side, warrior one. Inhale. Open up to warrior two as you exhale. Make the adjustments. You might have to turn the back foot more. You might have to widen or shorten your stance depending on how you landed. Good, straighten arms and legs. Maybe your toes come with you. Exhale, warrior two. Good, hang out here. Think about shoulders and hips are facing the long side of your mat. Tailbone is tucked underneath you. And your arms are reaching right over your ankles in two directions. Straighten front leg. Move the back foot in once, maybe twice. Flip your palms. Reach towards the front of your mat. Go out as far as you can, then go down. Hand on the floor, shin or block. Left arm over. So now imagine, maybe some of you have it, a wall behind the left side of your body. You're just putting both shoulders on it. Both hips are on it. Right? So we're just mirroring that wall. Pick up the bottom part of your body. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other by drawing heels towards each other. And then rotate the upper thighs outward. Another big breath. Inhale, look down, bring it back up, reverse your triangle. And find warrior two again, so you might have to adjust that back foot one more time. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's windmill down, face the front of the mat. Take that right arm back up as you turn your hips squared. One more time, we have that twist. Breathe in, pull that hip in. Right hand down. Straighten the front leg and fold. So the last time we were here, we had our foot in warrior. This time our hips are squared in pyramid, and so feel free to bring that back leg in a little closer. One more breath. Lengthen your spine and fold a little bit deeper. See how much you can get. Now turn your fingers back towards the back of your mat and see if you can get a little bit deeper into not only the leg stretch, but maybe the front of the shoulders and wrists and forearms. One more breath. reverse or release, your hands come back, right knee bends. Find a vinyasa from here, skip it, add to it. You do you. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Use this dog for a resting place. Left leg steps forward, right foot turns, warrior one on the inhaling breath. Good, open to warrior two as you exhale. Adjust yourselves. So you'll start to get used to your practice moving things as we're trying to find our space in our transitions. Straighten arms and leg, and then come back to your warrior two. Reach in two directions. Again, the same feeling we had in triangles. Spiral the hips open, heels come together. Breathe, fingers are right over the ankles. Breathe. Straighten the front leg. Move the back foot in once or twice. Hips go to the right, torso goes to the left. And then take it down. And now imagine that your whole back side of your body is against a wall. The whole bottom side of your body keeps lifting and rotating. So the more we can lift up through the bottom side of our body, the more rotation we can get there, the more space we can have, and the more room we can move into. Stay strong through your legs by pulling your knees up. Looking down as you bring it back to a reverse triangle pose. And then we go back to warrior two, so adjust that back foot as needed. As you exhale, windmill down, face the front of your mat, turn the back hip forward, left arm comes up, we twist. Stacking shoulders, maybe your eye gaze goes up, hug everything to midline. Take another breath. As you exhale, left hand comes down, straighten out your front leg. Shorten your stance if you need to, use blocks if you need to. Turn your fingers back and see if you can get a little bit more space, opening up the front of your shoulders as well as stretching into your hamstrings. Breathe in, relax the shoulders down, it's tricky. And then rebend the front knee, bring your hands by it, by the front foot. Step back to a high plank, do your vinyasa, skip it if you need to. Take whatever you need to. Heart comes through, downward dog, hips up in the air. Soften the knees. Walk the hands back. Okay, Rach? Come to your fingertips. Exhale, fold, lift your feet and slide your hands underneath your feet. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Exhale, fold, elbows out to the side, head to the shins. Put your weight forward into the balls of your feet. Another breath. Look forward, inhale. Push, pull. Release your hands. Good. Keep your feet about hips width apart. Bend your knees. Sit into a half chair. Bring your arms forward. Drop your seat down. Good. Now rise all the way up to standing. Arch back. Hands to your heart, feet together. Close your eyes for a moment. Settle in. Just feel where your body needs to be, right? Most of us aren't looking at mirrors. Sometimes we're looking in the camera, and sometimes on Zoom, it's really hard to see yourself on a camera. So you got to start feeling what you're feeling on the floor, through your body. So tuck the tailbone under, raise the hip bones a little bit, or the hip points, draw the belly to the spine, ribs towards those hip points, shoulders press down, crown of the head reaches forward. Bring the hands to your heart center. And then open your eyes for balance. Take your right leg off the floor, lift the knee up. Lift the knee up so it's in line with the hip, or maybe in line with the belly button, maybe a little bit higher for some. Extend the leg out in front of you. Flex that foot. Step about 2 feet forward, and then draw the left leg off the floor. Warrior three with hands in prayer. Breathe, take your time. Hips and shoulders squared. Dip the belly just a little bit. Then slowly bring that left knee to your chest, balancing again. And open the left knee to the left side. Place the foot above or below the knee, maybe on the floor for tree, Vrikshasana. traditional Krishnamacharyan tree pose. But if you have any other variations of tree, I always welcome you to join with that. If you don't know what it is, then you don't know it. No big deal. Who cares? One more breath. Good. Turn your knee forward, balancing on that right leg. Extend your left leg out in front of you. Step forward, charge your body forward. Dip your belly, warrior three on the other side. It's a mighty windy day for me. Breathe, dip your belly a little bit, crown of the head to the tailbone or to the foot, nice and long. One more breath. On the inhale, bring the right knee to your chest. Lift it a little higher. Flex the foot. Open it out and place it for tree. Pushing your foot and inner thigh together. Draw that left hip towards midline. So don't start collapsing into it. Find some stability, find the strength, find the power. Your feet are very powerful, you know. Everything starts in the feet. And then bring your right leg forward one more time. Step it down, separate your feet hips width apart, and fold. This time grab opposite elbows and sway a little bit side to side. Switch the cross of the arms, and just stay in the center. Inhale, rise up to stand, release the arms, roll the shoulders back and around. Bring your feet together, bring your arms overhead. And for some of you, if you're not at the top of your mat, take a step or two back towards the front of your mat. Come into Tadasana, hands at your heart or down by your side, whatever feels comfortable for you now. Tuck that tailbone underneath you. Open your eyes, stretch the arms up overhead. Inhale. Fold forward as you exhale, hands to floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Walk, step, float, hop, fly, take through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, hips up in the air. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your feet together this time. Bring your right leg in the air, bend your left knee. Open the right hip, it should be nice and open today. Bend the left knee again, bend the right knee as well. And then work at opening the right hip. Keep the right arm down as much as the left arm, and then begin to straighten your left leg. So get that heel towards the floor, feel a nice stretch in your calf, and then spin yourself around, right knee to chest, round and curl. Look right underneath your nose and step your right foot there. Walk your hands back to your foot. Lift your left leg off the floor, square your hips and shoulders, one breath. And then take the right hand outside the right foot in front of it on a block and spin open to the left side, Ardha Chandrasana. Now this is another Ardha Chandrasana, right? I mentioned one earlier. This is the balancing Ardha Chandrasana, left arm up from the Krishnamacharyan lineage. Lift the left arm, maybe the eye gaze goes up. Work your legs like they're an L, right? So you don't need that left leg too high. I like to keep it a little bit more parallel to the floor. You could also do this on your knee if you need to have a little more balance. One more breath. Look down, left arm down, left hip square. Drop that left hip so that your hips are parallel. Left knee to chest, round and curl. Kick that left leg back and then step it down about 2 to 3 feet behind the right. Not on a tightrope, but a little bit wider, hips width. Lengthen your spine. If you have a block, feel free to grab it. Place it on the outside or inside of your right foot. Lengthen your spine. Bring your hands to your hips and rise up. You should have your weight evenly distributed in both legs. Shoulders and hip points face forward. Right hand moves to your sacrum, left arm comes up over your shoulder, drop the shoulder down. Inhale, rise, or raise that left arm up and drop the shoulder. Square off the hips, keep that, and then come down halfway, just halfway. So what happens is that a lot of times we want to shift that right hip back. Let's keep it squared, so you might not go as deep as you think you want to. Inhale, keep the length in your spine. As you exhale, take the left arm outside of the right foot, or maybe inside. And then rotate your shoulders, stacking them. Maybe your eye gaze goes up. And then maybe that right arm goes up. Squeeze your hips with move. One more breath. And as you exhale, let's fold over the right leg. Hang your head down. Rise to your fingertips. Bring the right hand inside of the right foot. Maybe you need the block as well. Left hand to your left hip. This hip can shift out a little bit now. And then take the left arm up. Open up your chest and shoulder. So it's a short triangle with a little bit more hip movement. One more breath. And as you exhale, fold back to center. Release your head to your knee. Round your spine here, chin to chest. Walk your hands in front of you. Touch your palms together, cross one thumb over the other. Rest on the blade side of your pinkies on the floor. Chin to chest, roll up through your spine, come all the way up. Keep the right arm up, bring the left arm by your waistline. Flip your palm open. Shift your weight into your right leg and lift your left heel. Just start with that. Stay here. Or maybe you want to take that left foot into your left hand with your open shoulder. I know some of us, Lori, choose to do it another way. That's fine. Now kick your foot into your hand. Start with that. Stay there. Or begin to kick and tilt at the same time. Take your time. Find your steady gaze. Trying to draw your hip or knee towards center. So if the knee goes all the way out to the side, don't go so high. Right? Just try it. Hang in there. One more breath. Good. Now release the hand, the foot, and bring the feet together. Feet are on the floor. Separate your feet hips width apart. Reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, inhale. Bend your knees and find a plank. Move through your vinyasa. Up and downward facing dogs. Meet in down dog. Child's pose is always the option. Feet come together. Left leg in the air. Bend the right knee. Open the left hip. Bend the left knee. Keep your weight in both the left and right arms. And then straighten your right leg as best you can. Keeping the weight still evenly distributed. And then bring your torso to the center, round and curl. Left knee is going to come, or left foot, to the floor about half the way up. Walk your hands back to it. Separate your feet. Square off your hips. Lengthen your spine. Inhale. Exhale, fold over your left shin. If you have a block, feel free to bring it close. Rise up to your fingertips. Hands to your hips. Rise up to standing. Good. So again, we're not on a tightrope. Separate your feet at least hips width apart, maybe wider for some. Left hand on your sacrum, right arm up. Reach out. So make sure you're not lifting up your shoulder blades here. Reach out your fingertips to your toes down. And then start to lean forward without shifting your hips in either direction. So you may not go as low as you think you'd like to. And keep reaching forward and back with the hips as you begin to rotate. Maybe you go outside the left foot, maybe it's inside, maybe you're on the shin. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Twist to the left side as you exhale. Stack shoulders. If it's in your game today, left arm comes up. Maybe your eye gaze goes up. And keep hugging everything towards your midline. Breathe in and empty out. One more breath. Revolve triangle as you exhale. Fold over. Left hand moves inside of left foot. Right arm opens up to the right side. Maybe the right hip moves a little bit to the right. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale. And exhale. Can you still find the length in your spine? Can you lift up from the bottom side of your body? One more breath. And then empty the breath and fold over your left leg. Feel free to move the block or keep it nearby. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Walk your hands in front of you. Cross one thumb over the other, preferably the other one that you did. And just rest on the blade side of your pinkies, right? The pinky edges of your hand. And then bring the chin to the chest, round and curl. Draw through your pelvic floor, belly to spine, chin to chest, all three bandhas, Maha Bandha. Roll up through your spine, rise up to standing. Right hand comes to the waist, palm up. So think of it like a hitchhiker arm. Don't let the palm flip down. Open it up. Shift your weight into your left leg, and maybe you'll pick up that right foot into your right hand. So we want to keep the shoulder, the hip, the knee in almost that same line. Now kick your foot into your hand, and if you'd like to start to tilt, tilt. Take your time. Hiding the right knee behind you. Kick the right leg up. So if that knee goes off to the side, just keep it closer, right? That's it. So draw that knee in, Amanda, I think it is you. Hug the knee, yeah. Take a few breaths. Take your time. And then slowly come back. Hands down, feet down. Separate your feet. Bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold in between your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Take your vinyasa. Come through, lift up. Downward dog, hips up. Bring the right knee to the floor. Bring the left knee behind it. Yes, I know we've done this already. Let's see if it makes a difference what we've done for the last hour. So separate your feet and sit back so that you're sitting on the floor. I used a block the last time. I'm going to try it without the block, but notice my knee is still lifted. Yes, my hips are still tight, but they're definitely more open than they were before. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, bring prayer to the heart. Inhale, lengthen your spine, twist to the right, left elbow outside right thigh, thumb to the heart. Breathe in. Good. Now, you can stay right where you are because it's enough. Those of you who like to play with arm balances, we can come down, bring your hands outside your right thigh, shift onto your left shin, tuck the toes underneath you, and then you can come into your side crow, just bringing the right leg over the left leg. Maybe you even double bind your legs, or maybe you extend your legs, or you go into a headstand or anything else, or maybe you just want to stay today in Gomukhasana, prayer twist. And if you're playing with the arm balance, take your time to make your way back. Everybody back to center. Good. Let's just counter the twist. Grab a hold of the right foot with the right hand, left hand behind you. Now see if you can grab your right peace fingers around your right big toe, and then come back to center as you extend that right leg up in front. Good. And then maybe you can take your left arm out to the side and open. Let's just bring that right leg in a little, left leg in a little closer. Right leg comes out to the side. Good. Bring that right leg through center. Take a hold of it with your left hand, and then cross the body. Right arm behind you. This is so much better than doing this standing, isn't it? But we could have had that option today. Okay, come back to center. Right arm comes up and crosses over left arm, grabbing a hold of the bottom of the foot. Elbows pull out as you round and curl your spine. Try to stay upright on your sitting bones as best you can. We're not here forever. One more breath. And then lengthen your spine, inhale. Bend your right knee. Release your hands. Come back. Take your left leg in the air. Do a quick standing split. One breath. And then exhale your feet together. Climb to your fingertips. Good. Walk your hands forward. Walk your feet back. Downward dog. Take a vinyasa if you want. Skip it. Add to it. You do you. One more breath. Come back to center. Left knee on the floor. Right leg behind it. Open up your feet and have a seat behind you. Right? And if this is the incorrect leg, switch. Should be the left leg on top, if I'm not mistaken. Arms come up. Good. Bring prayer to the heart. Lengthen your spine. Inhale. Twist left. Exhale. Twist outside your arm, your thigh. Thumbs to your heart. So I'm pushing my leg and my arm against each other. I'm getting some really good firm, stable movement here. If you want to stay there, stay there. If you want to play with an arm balance, hands come outside the left leg, and we rise up onto the shins, and then maybe we sit our hips on our arms. And then any variations that you might be playing with today. Try it. So what if you fall? You're so close to the floor, right? But if you feel like you're going to face plant, put a pillow down underneath you. And when you're ready, we come back to our twist. And then come back to the center. Twist in the opposite direction. Take your left peace fingers around your big toe. Good. And then release that left leg forward. Now we're going to adjust that right leg a little bit more to the right side and open the right arm to the right, left leg to the left. Resting on your sitting bones so that you're not Swampasaning, right? Open out. Come back to center, right arm crosses outside, left thigh, left foot, left arm, and we're going to draw it across the body, get a little IT band. Left arm behind you. See if you can stay lifted on your sitting bones here. That's the hard part, not just the balancing, holding on. Flip your left palm up, bring your left leg center, cross left arm over right, pull it up, breathe. Elbows bend, head to knee. Inhale up. Exhale, left foot on the floor in the middle of your mat. Help yourself up, kick your right leg in the air, standing splits, one breath. And then right leg back, left leg back, arms forward, downward dog, or take your last vinyasa, maybe of the day, maybe of the class, for sure of the class. Downward dog is hips up in the air. And then look towards the front of your mat. I don't care how you get there, but take your legs out in front of you as you sit on the floor. Extend the legs out. I'm just going to turn myself on the side. It's always easier for you to see me that way. So snuggle yourself so that you're sitting again on your sitting bones or just slightly in front of them. Maybe you're on a block if you need to, right? If you're really tight. And then make your way probably the lower third of your mat. Get a little bit more space behind you so you can lay down with your head on the floor. And then sit in Dandasana staff pose. Hands by your sides. Press down, pull back. Lift your heart up. Don't turn your head. I'm just turning so I can see you. Pull your chest through. Turn your toes up towards your face and pull your kneecaps up towards your hips. And really be strong and firm in your legs. And then creep your fingers forward and reach the arms off the floor with nothing changing in your body except your arms. Reach forward like you're holding a gift out to somebody. Now lean slightly forward, just slightly, until you feel the hamstring stretch. For me, that's really right away. Right? Reach, reach, reach. Pull your shoulders back. And then keep the legs firm, keep the arms firm, but pull your belly to your spine, round your back, not your shoulders to your ears. And then start to curl down one vertebrae at a time. So you're resting first, you've got your tailbone, then you've got your waistline maybe, lower back, waistline, lower shoulder blade, all the way down, arms overhead. Take the arms to a V, legs to a V. One big breath. Good. Bend your knees, place your feet on the floor in line with your hips. Keep your arms overhead for now. Tilt your pelvis so your pubic bone points upward. If you start to knock your knees, I want you to put a block in between your thighs. If you start to open up your knees, I want you to put a block between your thighs. Tilt your pelvis and lift your hips off the floor. Don't turn your neck, just lift your hips. And bring your arms back in line with your shoulders. Option 1. Option 2, bring them down underneath your back, interlacing your fingers, or perhaps holding your hips up with your hands, or perhaps full wheel, palms down, fingers towards your shoulders, and rise up. Lift yourself all the way up. Find a couple of breaths, wherever you are. When you're ready to come out of it, and there's no rush, up upper mid, lower back to the floor. When you're there, hug your knees into your chest. Pull the knees really close. Keep your tailbone down. Take a happy baby pose. Feet to the ceiling. Big toes grip or outer foot or underneath your thigh or your shins. And then imagine that you're standing on the ceiling. Tailbone down. You can be Lionel Richie and dance on the ceiling, but your feet are parallel to the ceiling. Your knees are on the outer edges of your waistline. And then maybe you rock a little side to side and stay connected so that your core acts up and helps you from falling over. And then just come back to the center, hold that happy baby for one more breath. And then release your feet carefully, hug your knees into your chest. Lift your head and shoulders, flex your feet. Maybe you can grab the bottoms of your feet and pull yourself in really close. Lower your head. Release your feet and lift your legs up, arms come down by your side. Sometimes you might want to put them underneath your back if you feel free to do that. But using your strength of your center, I want you to lift your hips and take your feet overhead. And then walk your shoulders underneath you. So, if your feet do not touch the floor here, put your hands on your back. If your feet can touch the floor, walk your feet behind you. Try to find as much space as you can. Now, some of you will need to hold on to your back. Some of you can keep your arms on the floor. Maybe you can lift one or both legs in the air, resting on your shoulders. Don't turn your head. So you might need to be supported on your back. And if you are supported on your back, try to get as high up your shoulders as you can for this one. All right? Good. Shoulders stand. A good 5, nice up. Good 5 breaths. Easy. 10 if you can. If you'd like to, you can just take yourself back into your plow, one foot or both footed feet together. Again, your arms can be back by your side. Some of you will bring your knees over your ears. And begin to slowly roll yourself back down to the floor, one vertebrae at a time. So your legs could be straight or bent. You could be supporting your back or holding onto your feet. And then when you get to your back on the floor, everybody bring your feet back in the air, flex your feet. And now go ahead and bring your arms by your hips. Again, some of you will be underneath your hips. Think about drawing the ribs towards the hips and the belly to the spine, the pelvic muscles up. Take a breath. Start to lower your legs. I'm going to point my toes now. And as I lower my legs, I'm going to think about pulling my legs all the way away from me at the same time. Slowly, slowly, slowly. I think I just saw your camera. And then as the feet touch the floor, you rest up on your forearms, lift your heart, and then let your head rest on the floor. Ardha Matsyendrasana, breathe. I'm sorry, fish pose, Matsyendrasana. Breathe, 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 lift your heart up. Some of you will lift your head up. Some of you will come into lifting your legs and arms up. Some of you will be in the lotus position. So stay where you can. And when you're ready to come out of it, bring your chin to your chest, uncross your legs if they're crossed, and take one more, hips, knees to chest. Open your arms out shoulder height, move your hips right and let your knees fall to the left. I always like to take a spinal twist after back bending. Feels good. And then switch sides. And return back to your center. One last big hug of the knees to the chest. And then place yourself on your mat for your final Shavasana. Legs out in front of you. Arms by your side. Palms are facing up. Or perhaps you have one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Eyes are gently gazing towards the tip of your nose. Let your body surrender. Let all the effort go. Allow yourself this little break from reality, right? Just the time to completely let go of any thoughts, any sounds, any decisions that need to be made. And the only real physical action that's going to happen is your heart beating. And the breath moves and ebbs and flows from the body. The single most important posture of the entire class, and the hardest to do for so many. If you have the opportunity to rest here as long as you can, just turn off the video, turn off the sound, and stay. If you need to come out of this, start to make your breath a little bit deeper, bring your awareness back into the space that you're in, the time. Begin to move your fingers and your toes. And bring your knees to your chest and take yourself onto either side you choose. And on your own time, make your way into a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to your heart center. So first and foremost, give thanks to yourself because we're all we got. Thank yourself for getting to your yoga practice this morning. I thank you. I'm grateful for every time that you decide to show up and join me on the mat. Om Shanti, 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 Om Peace. Peace, peace to all. For those of you celebrating happy and healthy New Year, for those of you who would like to join me today at 4 o'clock, there will be a yin class. If you're not used to yin, my friends at home, stay fit, stay healthy.